Hello everyone, it's Donna here. How are you? Thank you so much for joining me. It feels like ages since I've last filmed. I have been watching some YouTube tutorials, particularly card makers, and there's one card maker in particular called Jennifer Maguire who inspired my make for today. Now, she was making a card which she stuck lots of different flowers together, leaving gaps. And she called it a see-through card. Now, hers was a greeting card, but I thought that could translate really well into a journaling card for a junk journal. So I kind of was inspired and I've been having a play. So on this one here, these are just flower images I cut out from a book. And then I actually used the pages from the book as the journaling card. I've backed it on the back. So you can see I haven't left a lot of gap, but you can just see, hopefully, where we've got these little spaces where we can see through to the back. So I did that one. I also thought using stamps and labels and stickers would look nice. So this is another example that I've done where we just stick them together, almost piecing them, and then we can see through. We have those little gaps, and it's just another way of making something, you know, another way of having some variation on something. This is another smaller one I did. This is just scrap paper from my scrap paper box, and I used some brown paper behind. Again, really simple, just using up scraps. So it's a really good one for that. It's also a really good one if you are kind of midway through a project or you've finished a project and you have lots of die cuts left over. So these are the die cuts from my kit. I think the leaves are the mini spring kits, possibly. Mini autumn kit. I can't even remember what I've done. So, but anyway, I had some left over from there. And I also had this image from Daphne's Diary. And behind, I've just coloured a Project Life card. This is like shiny material, so it resisted the colour. I used antique linen and just coloured it to match the front. Here is another example that I did. I really like this one. I basically kind of made a frame from some scrap paper, filled it in the middle and just put a butterfly across. It was as simple as that. And then on the back, I've used Elizabeth Craft Designs paper, and it's nice and plain on that side for journaling. So I really liked that example. So all of those led me to what we're going to do today, which is this. Now, I'm going to call these, what I've done today, I'm going to call them Peekaboo Fronted Journal Cards. I think that's a really nice name. So obviously this is a little bit more grungy, a little bit more Tim Holtz style. We've got the paper doll here, and I have used one of his backdrops, and I have backed this checklist here with some of his paper to make it stronger. The things that I have made are these tickets here, labels. I have a video on that. This is mine. It's just a stamped, it's just a stamped label. This is a die cut that I made. This tab is mine, and also this little label here is mine. And then I've just stuck a flower onto there. So that's what we're going to do today. So I kind of have a bit of a plan of what I'm going to do today. I've already kind of got my bits and bobs together because that can be quite time consuming. This is the paper I'm going to use, and I'm just going to work out now how wide I want it to be. So that is why I have organised it onto the paper so that I can work out the width. And I think if I cut just there, I'm going to fold it over here, which will be a flap so we can put our little arrangement on. I'm also going to score. On these examples, I scored 1/2 inch. But with these being smaller, I think I did 3/8 of an inch. So let me see. Yes, 3/8 of an inch, I think. Okay, that will fold down, and that creates the flap that we're going to build onto. So what I'm going to do now is give that a really good push down. We've got lovely plain paper on the back for journaling. I'm then going to round on the smallest setting this corner and that corner, and also the ends. And I've actually inked in the new Scorched Timber colour. I love it. I know some people were a bit disappointed. They wanted like another coloured ink, but I just love this colour. I think it's somewhere in between like walnut stain and pumice stone. It's got that kind of coolness to it. So I went round, this is the colour here. I went round in that, so I'm going to do that very quickly. And you can see I've got a lovely juicy pad, so, and it's very dark, so if you're using this and it's, you know, your pad's brand new, I would just go easy. Unless you want really heavy colour. I like heavy colour, but even for me, this is a little bit on the dark side. So I'm going to go around all the edges. Front and back. Just going to do this bit here as well. So there we have our base ready to go. We don't need to do anything else with that now for the moment. The one thing I am going to do is I'm going to get some low tack tape. Just kind of do that double-sided trick. I'm going to tack that down. Like that. And you may have noticed that I've got some acetate, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it where you make sure you can see it. So about there. Going to put that underneath the acetate, because then I can work on this and where I want everything to go, and I can still see through it, so I can get an idea of what it looks like when it's all going to be put together. So one of the first things I need to do is back this, because it's only on paper. This is just a little image from one of those booklets that you get in kits. I'm going to choose some paper that I think will go, because obviously when you lift it, you can see the back. I like this. They can get a little bit, I suppose some people find it scruffy. I don't mind it at all. I like that. I think it's nice to be able to see, especially for a junk journal. It's nice to be able to see how it was created. So I don't mind that at all. But as you can see, you can, you do get this backside. Because obviously if you covered it over, you wouldn't get this like peekaboo effect. But I am just going to cover this in some coordinating paper. So I might use this because it's got peach colouring and I've got the red here. So I'm going to want it like that. Yeah. So let's get that stuck on. And a quick ink round there. Just to hide any untidy edges. I cannot remember for the life of me how I had this, and I'm really disappointed because I had it in a way that I really liked. This one went there. So did I have this one here? May have had that one there. I know I had that label there. And that came over like that. I think it might have been something like that. And where did I have this? Okay, so we're going to go for something like that because I cannot remember how I had it. So the next step is sticking everything together. It's a little bit fiddly. But having this helps because you can see what's going on. So that's going to go. We want that to be stuck onto the back of here. Like that. So I don't need to back it because this is backed. It's nice and strong. So I just need glue. Now I would recommend a glue for this that you can work easily. Because it's quite faffy. If you have to start faffing around with the glue, it's kind of one more extra thing to think about. So if you've got like a nice like wet glue that you can use for the fiddly bits, that would probably be a benefit. Going to get a little bit of tacky tape just to keep him from moving. So I'm going to position him where I want him, and then just going to try and keep that still. That will just help for sticking everything together. Now I think I had this underneath here. If I didn't, I am now. So I'm going to put some glue on here. So work out where I want this. And then we'll just place everything down. So we're just going to use that little bit of liquid glue to keep everything in position. Let's stick this down. So I can't see very well. I'm just kind of going for it with the glue in the hopes that it will stick it in place, because we can always kind of finish off and get this a little bit more sorted once everything's finished. I'm going to put some glue on his feet. And I have been finding, if you have an acrylic block, just doing that and pressing down helps. And I'm going to put some glue under here. Stick that down. So the only thing really that you need to think about is having enough things at the top to stick onto the flap so that it can lift up and not fall off. So for example, this one I'm positioning so that when I stick it down, it's going to stick over that flap and it's going to give some support. And for now, I'm not kind of putting too much glue on. I'm just putting enough to kind of tack things into place. So I found this label. These are labels that I've made in a video. I will link in the description box, and thinking of putting that there to give some more support to the whole thing. So I will put some, I love these labels. I use them for everything, and because I did them on card, they are nice and sturdy. Let's pop that down there. Remembering to leave a few gaps so that I get that peekaboo effect. Again, just a little bit of glue just to tack everything down. Okay, and then when you think you're happy, you can just kind of lift it up. Make sure everything's straight, and then just get the rest, anything else that needs to be stuck down, you can just kind of have a bit of a faff with. I tend to use some tissue to help press everything down. So for example, it needs some glue here. It needs some glue here. And another thing about working over the transparency is that if you accidentally stick it, you can peel it back up and you don't make a mess of the card that you're using for your journaling card. Glue on his head. I want glue a little bit here. And he's going to be sat, so he's like on that line there. That's what I was planning. Maybe a bit of glue under here just to keep him safe where he needs to be. I'm just going to turn it over as well and check that everything on the back is nice and secure. So we just need a little bit under here. Again, I'm just kind of hedging my bets with this glue, squeezing it under and hoping I've got enough to get it all stuck. Okay, so there is our panel finished. And that is now all ready to go onto our base. You can, if you want, to add a little bit of extra inking or, you know, any finishing touches that you usually do. So I'm just going to take this off now as well because it can be a bit slippy. So that now is going to go on to there like that. And it's a little bit more full than the other one. The other one you can see through a little bit more. I have more things on here, but you can just see the black through these arrows, through these gaps. And while we're all together, I'm going to do a second one. So this one, I've picked out a few bits and bobs. I don't know why, but I just really fancied having a big butterfly at the back behind his head. I've got a little flower there. So I've kind of arranged this one as similar to this one here. And I'm going to make the card a little bit wider this time so that you can see more of the base behind. Rather than the other one we've just done kind of covers, you know, it's almost kind of the same size as the base and then hangs over it a little bit. So we'll make this one a little bit different. And I will pop some music on and get on with making this next card. So here we are. Here are our 3 Peekaboo fronted journaling cards. I do think I prefer the ones which are slimmer, where you can see more of the paper behind, but I do quite like this one as well. It's just got that little bit of space where you can see the black coming through. I was also thinking that these would be really good as you know, like if you went on holiday, you could use like a map of the area you went. You could put like you could make your own kind of paper doll, cut out, you know, whoever it is you went with or yourself, and do like a little journaling card for your holidays, which I thought was a really nice idea, and an idea that I may possibly do in the very near future. I'm just going to cut that flower off there. So this is the one that I made on my own. Really like that one. I think actually out of all of them, this one is actually my favourite. I have no idea why I wanted the butterfly. I just thought it looked nice. I added one of these on. Again, I just thought it looked nice. What I might do here is... So this is what you can do. Once you've got it done, you can add all your little extras in. So I might put a staple there, you know, like they've been stapled together. Making sure I don't go through. Just to give it a little bit extra and a little bit of extra detail. Like that. So there we go. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.